just hearing just all the things that surrounded behind the talks of Crawford going up to fight Canelo is is intriguing. You know, he's the bigger, he's the stronger, he's the most powerful fighter.
Terence Crawford has vowed to annihilate Canelo Alvarez in the ring. Meanwhile, Boxing Hall of Famer Oscar De La Hoya has shared his thoughts on the highly anticipated showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, expressing skepticism about Crawford's ability to overcome the size disadvantage. He pointed to boxing history, emphasizing that smaller fighters traditionally struggle against naturally bigger and stronger opponents.
Let's just say Canelo Crawford, in the history of boxing, and this is the facts.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
If you see Thursdays, Pack Thursdays, I speak the facts. All right, I'll even do it for you. A good little man has never beaten a good big man.
However, he conceded that history has seen a few extraordinary cases where smaller fighters have defied the odds, such as Manny Pacquiao's victory over him years ago. De La Hoya dismissed that particular outcome as an anomaly, citing his physical state at the time. Despite recognizing Crawford's skill, he believes the welterweight champion faces a significant challenge against a fully established super middleweight like Canelo.
Unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao beat me, but I was a dead man walking anyway. But a good little man never beats a good big man, so it's a tough test for Crawford.
Ultimately, with that in mind, he views the bout as more of a spectacle driven by business than a truly level contest. De La Hoya sees the fight as a major financial event rather than a competitive matchup, suggesting that the business side of boxing played a key role in making it happen in the first place. As the fight approaches, questions continue to arise about whether Crawford's technical brilliance can compensate for the physical disadvantages he will face against Canelo.
Bottom line, this is the truth again. It's a money grab. That's it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jesus Ramos Jr., who has also sparred with Terence Crawford, shared his belief that Crawford has what it takes to win against Canelo Alvarez. While he acknowledged the challenge posed by Canelo's size and strength, he emphasized Crawford's exceptional ring IQ and skill set. Ramos noted that although Canelo is physically strong, he isn't overly large in stature. He suggested that if Crawford can maintain distance, use his boxing ability, and control the fight from the outside, he has a real chance of getting the job done.
I think he's got what it takes. Obviously, it's unfortunate that Canelo's just so big and so strong, but he's gifted. You know, Terence is gifted. He's got that ring IQ. He can box him. He definitely can. Canelo's not that big of a guy. You know, he's short, but he's strong. So as long as Crawford can, you know, keep him on the outside, box him, I think he can get the job done.
Adding to the intrigue, reports have emerged linking the fight to the newly launched boxing league led by Turki Alalshikh and Dana White. Showbiz has suggested that the highly anticipated showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford is set to take place under the newly launched boxing league. According to recent teases from the league's organizers, the inaugural event is expected to be held in September, fueling speculation that Canelo versus Crawford will serve as the league's first major headliner.
That means Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford. They're saying that it's going to be a massive fight. I can't help but to assume that massive fight is Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford being the first main event for the new boxing league TKO. They're talking about doing it big. I'm rooting it on. And I'm not sure what happens with the rest of boxing.
At the same time, Canelo has weighed in on the matchup, maintaining that his primary focus remains on himself and his career. However, he admits that a fight with Crawford would be a significant addition to his legacy. Recognizing Crawford's accomplishments, Canelo acknowledged the welterweight champion as a highly skilled fighter whose resume speaks for itself. While his attention is centered on his journey, he understands that a victory over Crawford would further enhance his standing in the sport.
Oh, you know, I'm focused 100% on me. So, first is first.
Do you think it'll add to your legacy, the fight with Crawford?
Yeah, he's a really good fighter. 2 times on the Spirit champion. He accomplished so much. So, can add a lot to my career.
While entertaining the idea of facing Crawford and addressing the notion of future fights, Canelo asserted that any bout he takes part in is a significant event. While he hinted at a potential showdown with Crawford in September, he refrained from providing too many details regarding his game plan. For now, his attention is fully on his upcoming fight against William Skull in May, emphasizing that in boxing, a fighter must remain focused on the immediate challenge ahead.
I don't know, every fight of Canelo Alvarez is big. So, but there is something, maybe there is something, we'll see. You know, everybody is talking about with Crawford in September. It's not their secret, but like I say, I'm focused 100% on William Skull on May, because, you know, it's boxing. It's boxing, and you need to be focused on the next.
In addition, Canelo expressed confidence in the magnitude of a potential showdown with Terence Crawford, stating that he believes it would be even bigger than his fight against Floyd Mayweather. Given Crawford's status as an undisputed champion and the intrigue surrounding the size disparity, Canelo sees the matchup as a blockbuster event.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be bigger. Even the Mayweather fight is gonna be bigger than that.
You think it does more pay-per-view buys than the Mayweather fight?
Yeah, I think so.
As speculation continues to mount over a potential September clash, Canelo's next opponent, William Skull, has voiced his frustration over being overlooked. The reigning world champion believes it is disrespectful that discussions are already focused on a possible Canelo versus Crawford showdown rather than his fight against the Mexican superstar. Skull emphasized that he has earned his place in the ring and deserves the same level of respect as any other champion. With their bout set for May, he remains determined to make a statement and remind the boxing world that he is not just a stepping stone on the road to a bigger fight.
He salido adelante bajo las dificultades de las personas que me subestiman.
Amid these ongoing debates, the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford showdown continues to gain traction, and former world champion Mikey Garcia has weighed in with his reservations about the fight. Garcia stated that he is not in favor of the matchup, pointing to the significant weight difference between the two fighters.
I'm not even a fan of that fight. There are too many weight classes apart.
While he acknowledges Crawford as one of the best in the sport, he questions how the welterweight champion plans to bridge the gap against a fighter who has been dominating at 168 pounds. Crawford recently moving up to 154 and facing challenges at that weight, Garcia is skeptical about how he would manage another jump, potentially to 164 or 165 pounds.
Although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, you know, fighting at 168. Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66?
In addition, Garcia also dismissed the possibility of Canelo cutting down to 160, suggesting that the lowest the Mexican star might go is around 166 pounds. Ultimately, he concluded that the fight would favor Canelo, believing his power and size advantage would be too much for Crawford to overcome.
Canelo ain't gonna come down to 160.
Yeah,
Canelo ain't gonna come down, you know, maybe 166 max if he accepts. I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, you know, power and size. Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter, but the difference in size will be the deciding factor.
Building on this perspective, promoter Eddie Hearn has previously doubted Canelo Alvarez's eagerness to face Terence Crawford, suggesting the fight may not appeal to Alvarez. Hearn noted that even with a victory, Canelo might not receive full credit for defeating a naturally smaller opponent who recently moved up to light middleweight. He also highlighted Crawford's movement and elusive style as potential challenges, making the matchup less than ideal from a stylistic standpoint. Considering these factors, Hearn believes Canelo may lack the motivation to pursue the fight.
I don't think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo.
On the other hand, Showbiz has offered a different perspective, outlining a potential blueprint for Crawford to overcome Canelo's advantages. Showbiz pointed out Canelo's struggles with stamina and effectiveness when forced to box. He referenced Floyd Mayweather's approach, emphasizing the importance of a steady stab jab aimed at the belt line, which disrupted Canelo's rhythm in their fight. Showbiz suggests that Crawford, with his high ring IQ and adaptability, could implement a similar strategy to neutralize Canelo's power and control the fight.
Terence Bud Crawford can be strong enough and he's smart enough with good enough footwork to stab jab him right at the belt line.
Whereas Crawford himself has acknowledged the magnitude of the challenge. During a recent interview, Terence shared his thoughts on moving up 2 weight divisions, emphasizing that he is attempting something unprecedented in boxing. He noted that when experts and the media discuss fights, they rarely highlight a smaller great fighter defeating a bigger great fighter.
You know, when you hear the media, when you hear the experts talk, you always hear all of them say, you never seen a smaller great fighter beat a big great fighter.
Building on this, Terence finds the narrative surrounding the build-up to this potential showdown intriguing, as it challenges conventional thinking in the sport. He pointed out that discussions often revolve around size and strength, with the bigger, stronger, and more powerful fighter typically being favored. By moving up 2 weight divisions, Crawford is aiming to defy that expectation and prove that skill and greatness can overcome physical advantages.
Just hearing just all the things that surrounded behind the talks of Crawford going up to fight Canelo is intriguing. You know, he's the bigger, he's the stronger, he's the most powerful fighter.
Expanding on this, Crawford recognizes the intrigue surrounding the fight. Terence acknowledges that everyone is well aware of what he brings to the table, but the uncertainty lies in how he will compete against Canelo. He pointed out that while fans and analysts know what to expect from Canelo, there is an element of mystery surrounding how he will perform in the fight, making the matchup even more intriguing, especially since he has never fought at this weight.
We don't know how Crawford can compete with Canelo. We don't know. So we know what to expect when we see Canelo come into the ring and when Canelo fights, but we don't know what to expect when we see Crawford, because we never seen Crawford at this weight before.
Adding to this, Terence Crawford acknowledged that while people know he can box and move, the real question is whether he can take a punch from Canelo Alvarez. He pointed out that he has been hurt before, and the intrigue lies in how he will respond if Canelo manages to hurt him in their fight.
The thing is, we know Crawford can box. We know Crawford can move. But can Crawford take a punch by Canelo? We seen him hurt by Gamboa at 135. You know, we seen him hurt by Mean Machine, they will all say, which I don't believe I was hurt. Well, I stand on it, I wasn't hurt, but that's the narrative. Yep. We seen it. What is he gonna do when Canelo hit him?
Echoing this sentiment, Sway Wrestling acknowledges Terence Crawford's bold decision to move up in weight to face Canelo Alvarez. He highlights the challenge Terence Crawford faces in moving up to fight Canelo Alvarez, acknowledging his bravery but emphasizing the significant size and power difference. He stated props for Bud walking into the lion's den, but at the end of all this we'll say, weight classes for a reason, LOL power punches will easily be the difference. Further fueling speculation, Turki Alalshik recently revealed his future plans in a post on X during a meeting with renowned photographer David LaChapelle, where he allegedly discussed upcoming collaborations. Among these projects is the highly anticipated fight poster for the potential bout between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. This collaboration suggests that promotional efforts for the Canelo vs. Crawford fight are underway, adding to the excitement among boxing fans. In addition, Teofimo Lopez weighed in on the potential matchup, acknowledging that stylistically, Terence Crawford can compete and last in the fight. However, he pointed out that the weight difference remains a key factor, favoring Canelo Alvarez. Lopez noted that while Canelo has improved significantly since his loss to Floyd Mayweather, he has also shown some decline in recent years. Despite this, Lopez ultimately believes that Canelo would come out on top in the fight, citing his size and overall strength as decisive advantages.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think stylistically, Crawford could stay in there long enough. However, it's just with the weight, and I mean, Canelo, he's gotten better ever since Mayweather, but now he's decreased a little bit. nevertheless, though, I think that think Canelo will get him.
Adding to the growing recognition, veteran Teddy Atlas offered high praise for Terence Crawford, acknowledging the welterweight champion's remarkable achievements in the sport. Atlas highlighted Crawford's ability to move up in weight and unify 3 divisions, demonstrating his versatility and skill. He also emphasized Crawford's impressive track record, noting that the fighter has defeated everyone put in front of him, including the undefeated Errol Spence Jr. Atlas made it clear that Crawford didn't just beat Spence, he dismantled him, showcasing a level of dominance that has elevated Crawford to elite status in the boxing world.
He unified like 3 different weight classes. He moved up in weight. He's beaten anybody that they put in front of him. He beat an undefeated fighter in Errol Spence that everybody thought was just like, one of the best fighters out there, which he was. He was one of the top fighters pound for pound out there, and he didn't just beat him, he dismantled him.
Expanding on his praise, Teddy commended Terence Crawford not only for his accomplishments, but also for his well-rounded skill set, emphasizing that when fighters can't rely solely on power, they must depend on other attributes. Atlas states that he looks at everything that can make a fighter win. He pointed out that Crawford excels in technique, defense, and offense, making him a complete fighter. Atlas described Crawford as one of those rare, special talents who can adapt and dominate at the highest level.
He has done everything asked of him, and he's done it in a superb way. It's not that he's just won. I look at how people win. How versatile are they? How mentally together are they? What happens when they're tested? What happens when they have to make an adjustment? I look at all those things. What happens when they can't depend on power? What else do they have to depend on? I look at everything, their technique, their defense, their offense, all of it. And I look at Crawford as one of those special guys. I don't care if you guys are tired of me saying it.
Challenging the prevailing narrative, Atlas posed a question that few are asking, shifting the focus to whether Canelo Alvarez can handle a smaller opponent with advantages in speed, slickness, and defense. He pointed out that Crawford will likely have better footwork and movement, which could create problems for Canelo. Atlas also noted that while both fighters are aging, Canelo has shown signs of slowing down, with his legs not closing the distance as quickly as they once did. This, he suggested, could be a key factor in how the fight plays out.
I say, okay, yeah, can Canelo handle the smaller guy who's going to be faster, who's going to be slicker, who's going to be better defensively, who's going to have better legs, who's going to be able sometimes Canelo at this point in his career can slow down a little bit. They're both getting older. I get it. But sometimes, his legs aren't as quick. He don't close the gaps as fast. Is he going to be taken advantage of in that area?
Offering a stark contrast to Atlas's perspective, Coach Joel Diaz dismissed the notion that Terence Crawford could easily defeat Canelo Alvarez, calling such opinions foolish. While he acknowledged and respected differing viewpoints, he strongly emphasized that size plays a crucial role in boxing. He stated, "I don't think Crawford has anything to beat Canelo." Diaz pointed out that the physical advantage of a naturally bigger fighter can change everything with just one punch, reinforcing his belief that the size disparity between Canelo and Crawford would be a major factor in the outcome of the fight.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. Mm-hmm. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan.
In addition, Joel Diaz pointed to Crawford's recent move up in weight to face Israil Madrimov, noting that he didn't do much damage in that fight. He questioned how Crawford would handle yet another jump in weight, arguing that while Canelo Alvarez can absorb any punch Crawford throws, the same cannot be said in reverse. To support his claim, Diaz referenced Canelo's ability to take shots from Gennady Golovkin, suggesting that if Canelo could withstand Triple G's power, Crawford's punches would have little effect.
Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ.
Ade Oladipo offered a different perspective on the weight debate, arguing that Terence Crawford still looks athletic and sharp even when moving up in weight. He downplayed concerns about the size difference, stating that the weight disparity isn't as significant as many are making it out to be, even if it does pose some challenges. Oladipo believes it won't be a major factor in determining the outcome of a potential fight between these two.
Crawford still looks so athletic, even when he does put the weight on. So I don't think the weight is as big an issue as some people say. It's an issue, but I don't think it's as big an issue.
As speculation around Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford continues to build, opinions remain divided on how the fight will unfold. While some emphasize Crawford's skill and adaptability, others point to Canelo's size and power as the deciding factors. With the possibility of the bout materializing later this year, fans eagerly await official confirmation. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit the like button and share the video with a fellow boxing fan who would appreciate the insights on this exciting matchup. Whether you're backing Crawford or rooting for Canelo, this fight is one that every boxing enthusiast should be following closely. For more updates, analysis, and the latest boxing news, make sure to subscribe to Boxism.